Hello, hello. Hope everyone can hear me. Alrighty. Give me just 1 second. Want that one up. There we go. Alright, hi everyone. It's been, I think, about a week now, right? Since I last streamed, I can tell because I'm now more nervous than I have been. Which is why I guess you shouldn't take breaks during stream for streaming, huh? Anyway, hi everyone, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing something a bit different. We're going to be going through the seasonal anime chart for the new season coming up in July. And we're going to be going through all the new anime that's coming out, watching some trailers, and just looking to see what I'll be watching, what I won't be watching, maybe what you guys are interested in. Yeah, it should be a good time. I am very inspired by other streamers who have done similar things. Probably the most noteworthy being Giguk. He does streams very similar to this, but I've always wanted to do something like this myself because it always just seemed really, really fun and gave me an outlet to kind of like share my thoughts and feelings on the different shows coming out, because I've been a fan of seasonal anime for a good 4 to 5 years now, but I don't really get to share that with many people, so hopefully I can do that a bit more through today's stream. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, there's a couple of things I need to go over before we start. Probably the most noteworthy being that I did mention we are going to be watching the trailers for each of the shows that we cover today. However, to avoid any copyright issues, what's going to happen is I have edited the way that the audio works a little bit. Basically, during the actual live stream, you should be able to hear the audio for the trailers in full. However, if you're watching this VOD on Twitch or YouTube, the trailer audio should be completely muted for you. However, I'm going to keep the BGM music on in between trailers, so that way it's not just silence for you guys. Unfortunately, when obviously the trailers are on, it'll be quiet because I'll have to turn the background music off. But that's, unfortunately, that just kind of can't be helped. I don't really want to take any kind of risks or anything like that. So obviously you'll still be able to see the actual videos themselves. You just won't be able to hear the audio. But obviously, you know, the trailers are free to watch at your own discretion as well. But this stream is mostly obviously going to focus on my thoughts and feelings. Yeah, if you guys have and your guys' opinions as well, like if you want to share any of your thoughts on some of the shows that we're covering, please feel free to do so. But yeah, no, it should be good fun. I think that's the only thing of note worth. So yeah, I do apologize for anyone who's watching this back. It's just, you know, one of those things, you know, kind of can't be avoided really. But hey ho, it should still be fun nonetheless. I suppose the only thing I want to mention is obviously I'm going to be reading the synopsis of each show. But reading stuff out loud is a little tricky for me. Not impossible. Obviously I can read, but reading out loud can be a little bit tricky. So I might stutter and I might have to restart certain sentences. But I'm hoping the more we get into it, the easier it'll be. But yeah, is there anything else I need to cover? I don't believe so. There are a lot of shows. So we're just going to jump straight into it. Oh, there is one thing I need to do just in the background. I need to set something up in the background real quick. Basically, I'm going to be making a list for myself as we go along, just so I can keep track of the stuff that I have said I want to watch. If you've been following me on Twitter for a long time, you might have seen like me screenshot my list before, because I have like a formatted list with different color coding and stuff. Just a way I like to keep organized when I'm watching my shows. So let me edit this list really quick so that it's ready to go for when we start. Oh yeah, I guess another thing I want to mention before we start. In terms of the shows we'll be covering, we will only be covering any new shows that are coming out. We won't be covering any ongoing titles carrying on from previous seasons, and we also won't be covering any movies. And we also probably won't cover every single thing on the chart. We'll try to cover as much of it as we can, but anything that's like obviously like a children's show or something that just isn't part of like the mainstream lineup you might see on like Crunchyroll or High Dive, for whatever reason that might be, we're probably going to avoid those. There may be other shows that I'm just straight up not interested in checking out, but I do want to try and cover as much of them as possible. So we'll see how we go. If I miss one and there's one that you actively wanted me to check out that I missed, just give me a shout in the chat, and I will go back to it for sure. But in the meantime, that's how we're going to tackle this. Right, I'm just looking at my list. I'm pretty sure there is nothing, at least from the stuff that I've seen, that is continuing into the next season. Which is good, because that means I've got plenty of room. Okay, cool. I'm all ready to go, so let me just swap scenes real quick. We're going to be using the whole screen today. We're not going to have any of the borders up, just so that we can get the full view of the... that's the wrong one. No, which one is it? There it is. Hotkeys. Yeah, so this is the format we're going to be using, just so that we can get the full view of the screen, and it'll be easier for you guys when we're watching the trailers and stuff. But yeah, basically I've got the list. I'm on livechart.me. This is just the site that I'm most accustomed to, the one that I typically use for my for my watch list. So this is the site we're going to be using. We've got it ordered in popularity, so obviously, you know, the big titles will definitely be prioritizing here. Again, I've hidden any ongoing shows. And we've got all the titles in English, just for the sake of pronunciations and stuff like that, just to make things a little bit easier. But otherwise, yeah, I guess we might as well just jump straight into it. So as I kind of mentioned before, we're basically going to be going over each one, reading any synopsis if it has one, then checking out the trailers, moving on to the next, so on and so forth. And I'll talk about each one, my experiences with it, my thoughts, etc., as we go on. But yeah, no, it should be good fun. Without that further ado, though, let's just jump straight into it. With the first one that we've got here, which is the fourth season of Overlord. Overlord is an interesting one. It's one that a family member of mine is really, really, really invested in. They have rewatched Overlord more times than I can count. Me, I like it, but not enough to go back and rewatch the seasons I've already seen. But it's definitely a fun one. I really like... what is there to say about Overlord? It's so... It deals with a lot of, like... I'm just trying to think of how to word my sentences here. It's a unique one. Yeah, there's a lot of different political stuff that I'm not great at following political elements. But I like the way that it kind of tackles the protagonist in a new sort of way. Because he's not just like your typical hero. He's actually like almost the villain. Or you could be argued that he is the villain. And just having a protagonist that kind of you kind of see from a different perspective. He's not necessarily the good guy. Sometimes he is, but other times he's not. And I think that is definitely an interesting outlook that a lot of isekai don't have. Also, it's Madhouse, so the animation is almost always on point. I say almost always because if you've watched Season 3, then you know about the sheep, I think they're called. They were horrifying. And the goblin armies. Ugh. That was terrible. It was bad. The CG in Season 3 was not good. But it's been a while since Season 3. So I honestly don't remember a lot about the plot. Obviously, I watch quite a lot because I tend to watch about 10 to 15 shows per season, which at the time is great, but it makes it very hard to remember plot lines for specific shows. So I couldn't tell you much about what has happened in previous seasons. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle for me, I think, when I jump into Season 4. But I'm sure things will come back to me. Anyway, without further ado, there is no synopsis for this one, so we're just going to jump straight into the trailers, I think. Do we want to watch all of them or just some of them? That is one thing I never figured out. I think for the sake of time, maybe we'll just watch 2 at most, because there's 3 here. But we'll prioritize some of the later PVs that probably showcase more. I think we'll do that. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into it. I'm just going to pause the music real quick. Ah! We just pause the music real quick. All right, let's. I'm going to full screen it too. Take a look. This is Overlord Season 4. The animation looks good, at least on the surface. It's kind of hard to tell with the trailer, I guess. I'm recognizing some of these other characters. There he is. Got some dwarfs in this season. Ah, Kokaitis. The best character. I'm going to turn this down a bit. I can't hear myself think. There we go. That's a little bit better. Looks like this season's going to have a lot of action. The Overlord. Nice, nice. All right, let's watch the next one. I'm going to move my VTuber a little bit because he's coming off the edge a little bit, and we don't want that. So let me move him. Just jiggle him a little bit to the left. Okay, cool. Let's watch the next one. It's PV3. Subtitles. Yeah. Oh, the opening in this one. Well, no, the ending theme. Did they play the opening in the last one? I wasn't paying that much attention, I guess. It's good, though. I like it. So basically, it looks like this season's going to have an arc with dragons and an arc with dwarves, or maybe it's the same arc. But I do like me some dragons, so that's got me invested. Oh no, I think this might be the opening now, actually. Yeah, here it is. OXT, of course. Wouldn't be an Overlord opening without them. Oh, the masked girl. I remember her. Ah. Oh, the lizard people are back. Okay. Alright. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Ooh, okay, this season actually looks really fun. I'm only picking up little bits and pieces as I'm trying to like pay attention to the actual footage, but yeah, looks like there's going to be some dwarves and some dragons in this one. Lots of action. They brought OXT back for the opening, which was of course what you want for Overlord, I think. I'm just gonna meddle a little bit more with some of the audio. It was a little quiet there, wasn't it? It was just really loud initially. Also, I'm noticing that I'm closing my eyes a lot, and I'm trying not to do that. Okay. Because I'm looking over at my second monitor a bit more. Anyway, I'll try not to meddle too much. But yeah, let me know if the audio's not good. I think everything should be fine. If it's terrible, let me know. Anyway, yeah, Overlord. It looks sick. Season 3, I think especially, was a bit of a slow burn. And I found it hard to like get really invested. But it looks like season 4 is going to pick it up a little bit more with like the action and the pacing a bit. And if that proceeds to be true, then I am looking forward to it a lot. Let me just write it on my little list here so I can keep track of what I'm doing. Okay, so show number 1 will be Overlord season 4. Probably be on Crunchyroll, so we can leave that highlighted orange. I know you guys can't see the list. I might showcase it at the end, but for now we will. I'm going to just keep it on my second monitor. But let's keep going because I'm not sure how long this is gonna take to get through everything. So I don't want to spend too long on one show. So we're going to move on quickly to probably my most anticipated show of the season. Finally, after years and years of waiting, we finally get a second season of The Devil is a Part-Timer, which is just The Devil is a Part-Timer with a second exclamation mark. Once again, these second season names are truly innovative. You love to see it. No synopsis again, so nothing to read there. But yeah, it's been years since I watched Devil as a Part-Timer, but I absolutely adored it. It was hilarious. I love the characters. And I always wanted to see where the story went beyond the first season. But I've always had a hard time trying to get into light novels, so I never did. I never did find out what happens. But now we're getting a second season of the anime, and I cannot wait. So I just want to watch the trailers because I haven't seen any of these yet. So I'm really, really eager to just jump in and take a look at some of these trailers. Let's just do it. Let's just jump straight in. We won't watch the announcement. Let's just do PV and PV2. Let's go. I'm so excited. I love this show. Oh wait, are there subtitles for this? No, okay. That's fine. It still looks like season 1 stuff. Maybe it's not. I can't tell. Sorry, I went quiet, huh? There's not much to comment on, really, to be honest. It's just more of the same from the looks of it. I do want to learn more about, like, the Kimono Girl's past. Because I don't think she got much screen time in season 1, right? I honestly don't remember. It's been years so long. That small child. Okay, I dig it, I dig it. Oh yeah, I think this is just talking, right? Yeah, that's just the okay. I know. Sorry, I went a bit I went a bit blank there. I was looking over at stuff. Yeah. There's not much to say really on that PV. It really just looks like more of the same, which is by no means a bad thing. It's even harder to comment on anything when I don't have any subtitles or anything. But looks like we're getting a new character in the form of this child. I assume she's from the Demon Realm. Obviously, it's kind of hard to say at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised. Other than that, it's just more of what we liked from the previous season. Everyone's coming back, it looks like, so that's awesome. Let's see if the second PV has anything else worth commenting on, really. Oh no, okay, it's gonna be one of those, is it? Where she ends up calling him dad. This one got subtitles? No. Okay, cool. Just checking. Gonna be a beach episode. Looks like it. Did they have one in season 1? I honestly don't remember. Ooh, more characters. A bird. A random bird. Wait, what was that? Did she just throw someone? Nice. Alright, bear me 1 second. Just gonna put the audio back on. Okay, yeah, I actually just remembered that I forgot to turn the music back on in between the Overlord PVs, but that's okay. Yeah, no, yeah, it's just more of the same, really, isn't it? Sometimes, especially with like sequels and stuff, that's just, that's just for the best, really. It looks like this child is going to be a very big plot point. It looks like it's doing that classic thing where she ends up assuming that the main character is her dad or a parental figure, which I feel like we've seen a lot of in many other shows. Most recently, we had it with Ari Ferretta. But like, even though that's a little cliche, I think I wouldn't be surprised if the show finds something unique, a unique take on that plotline. Why on earth do I keep sliding to the right? Keep doing it, huh? I just moved myself like significantly to the left. But yeah, no, I think I'm sure the show will find a unique twist. So I look forward to seeing what they do with that. But yeah, mostly I'm just excited to return to these characters and have a good laugh, because that's mostly what the show is about. Seeing maybe if we get a little bit more backstory on some of the other characters. And yeah, not much else to say, really. I know I don't have a lot to comment on this show, but that's just because it's kind of hard to comment on like more slice of life stuff. Because there isn't much plot to talk about. But yeah, no, it is a show that I do hold dear. It's just got such an amazing energy to it. It's probably the best thing I could say, honestly. I just love the energy and the chaos and the hilariousness. So yeah, no, definitely my most anticipated show, no doubt. I'm just gonna add it real quick to my list. Devil is a Part-Timer Season 2. By the way, I know it might seem like it, but I don't pick up everything. It's just that, like, obviously where the more well-known stuff is at the beginning, a lot of the initial stuff will probably go straight on my list, but you'll see as we get further down that I will avoid some shows, but yeah, I don't literally watch everything that comes across. I would not be able to find the time for that. Anyway, we move on to show number 3. A show that I didn't think would ever get a sequel, because it just seemed like, random show of the season type number, but apparently people really like it, which genuinely surprised me. Not because I thought it was bad or anything, just because I didn't think it was anything so crazy that it needed to have a continuation, at least over other shows that I definitely felt like deserved sequels more so. That being said, I'm still going to watch it. That is Classroom of the Elite Season 2. I watched this back when it was airing. I think it must have been about 2017, maybe 2018. It's been a while though. But yeah, just out of nowhere almost, they not only confirmed a Season 2, but a Season 3 as well. Yeah, no, that genuinely took me by surprise, because I don't remember much of anything about this show, to be completely honest. Because again, for me at least, it was very much just one of the shows that was just a part of my lineup for the season. It didn't really stick out that much. I did like the dynamics between the characters and like the mind games. It was something that at the time, for me at least, I hadn't had much experience with an anime. So it was really interesting to see that, and kind of like the hierarchy and stuff within a high school setting. That again, at the time for me, was pretty unique, for me at least. Obviously, there's a lot of shows that have tackled stuff like that, but not that I'd seen when I was watching it. So there was definitely some interesting elements there, and there's definitely like some stuff going on with the main character's backstory that I'm really, really interested to see developed further in the new season. Because they teased that, like, they teased like his backstory at like literally the last episode, and it was like, hold up, what's going on? Because it really took you by surprise at the time, I remember. Because he just seemed like a very monotone dude through the most of the season. You didn't really think too much of it. But then in the final episode, they just hit you with a bit of backstory, and it's like, oh, this dude's got more going on than it seems on the surface, huh? Oh yeah, no, definitely interested to see where that goes with his backstory. Definitely seeing how some of these other characters continue to evolve as the season goes on. Because there were some really interesting characters and different dynamics and stuff. Another thing you may notice is I have a terrible time remembering main character, like character names, unless it's like a show I'm like, unless it's like a show that I'm like really, really familiar with. I have a hard time remembering the characters, so I am probably just going to be referring to characters as like the main character, or this character, or this character that looks like this, or something like that. But hopefully you can follow along with what I'm trying to say. Anyway, I don't have too much else to say about this show, so we're just going to see what the PVs have to offer. Right, there is a lot here. Like I said, I only really want to watch 2 of each. Oh, I think some of these have different subtitles for different countries, right? So we're going to focus on the 2 that have English subtitles. So we'll go with... Oh, this was the initial announcement, right? Which is just like the key visual. Should we start with that? I'm not really sure. We'll start with this one because it may not be anything more than the key visual with some fancy music. But we'll take a look just in case it did have something else to offer. Okay, yeah, no, it is footage. Okay. I was just reminded of like the initial announcement where I think they just like showed the key visual in like a teaser video. Yeah, no, recognizing a lot of these faces. Mm-hmm. A lot of new faces as well, it looks like. Oh yes, the girl with like two like distinct personalities. The fake, like, kind, wholesome personality and the real twisted one. Uh-huh. Okay, cool. What about this one at the bottom, huh? Is this the same thing? It is. Okay, one was uploaded by Kadokawa and the other one by Crunchyroll, but it's the same PV. Okay, it looks like they're all pretty much the same, to be honest. Okay, well, we can just watch the one PV for that one. But yeah, no, I look forward to it. It'll be interesting to see how it evolves. Um, I'll actually be watching this with a family member of mine because we watched the first season together. And I assume they want to watch the second, so I look forward to that. But yeah, mostly just surprised that this even got a sequel, let alone like 2 seasons more worth of sequel. But I will be watching it nonetheless. It looks like it's going to be a interesting time, if nothing else. So allow me to add that onto my list. Awesome with the Elite, Season 2. Okay. I'm pretty sure almost all of these have been licensed already. Maybe no, I don't think the Part-Time or Overlord have been officially licensed yet, so we will unhighlight them for now. But Classroom of the Elite has, so we'll leave that highlighted in orange. I'll probably showcase the list at the end of the stream just so you guys can see what I'm doing. But yeah, we will move on to this. The next one I don't believe is actually like a season. I think it's an OVA, but it's on here, so we'll talk about it. And it's Dr. Stone's special episode. The original episode serving as a bridge between the second and third seasons. Yeah, I mean, it looks important from the key visuals and stuff that I've seen. It looks like it introduces a whole new character. Oh, God. No. I went back. My apologies. Yeah, no, it looks like it introduces a whole new character, which is, I don't know if he's going to have any importance in the latest, like in the season 3, but on the off chance he does, it's definitely going to be worth checking out. I don't really know what to expect from it, though. I love Dr. Stone, I'll say that. It's such a unique show, and one that I really, really love. It's such a interesting idea to blend like the classic shonen formula with like actual real world science. It's something that I hadn't seen before. And it just does it in such a fun way that you end up learning stuff without even trying. And honestly, it's just such a fun and interesting way to teach you more about stuff you usually wouldn't be interested in. And to boot, it's also just a great story even without that. Like, it's not like it's an education show first and a shonen second, and the shonen is like takes a backseat. Like, they're a perfect blend. The story is very much actually elevated by the science, but the characters are also like amazing in their own right. And the story is amazing in its own right. So just the way that it's able to blend those two things without either one of them feeling weaker, something that I want to see more in shows, I think. But yeah, no, it's really, really cool. Yeah, no, I've been obsessed with Doctor Stone ever since it came out. So I can't wait to see what they do with the third season and with the special as well. So let's see if they've got any PVs for this one. Oh wow. Okay, it's because it's a Crunchyroll thing, right? And they've got like different PVs for all the different subtitles. It's a little annoying. So now I have to try and figure out which one's which. We'll skip the announcement because it was just like, I think it was just footage from the end of season 2, to be honest. Let's go with trying to figure out which one's which here. We'll go with this one. We'll do the main PV and the English PV. If it's the same one, then whoopsie, we'll just watch the one PV. But we'll go with this one for now. Okay, so this dude is like a sailor, so they need him to like help traverse the sea. He's got the pirate hat. We going on a pirate adventure or what? Let's go. Oh, there's more. There's more. Okay. Oh wow, they're traveling half the planet? Oh, and that's the plot of the third season. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Hype. Yeah, no, that new guy looks really fun. Let's see if the yeah, it looks like there's more footage here. Okay. Okay, I'm not really following like what the narrative of this trailer is, obviously, but it looks like it's going to be covering a lot. This looks like a lot of stuff for what I assume is a 20-minute episode, right? Maybe it's a little longer than that. I don't really know. I assumed it was just like a singular episode, but it looks like there's a lot going on there. I mean, yeah, it's a special episode, singular. Okay, well, I'm definitely interested to see where that goes. This new character looks really, really fun. So I am definitely excited to see what he brings to the table. I hope he's not an exclusive character, like an exclusive for this episode. I'd like to see him in in season 3 as well. Because he definitely looks like a ton of fun. And if that ends up being true, then I definitely want to see him more. But I guess time will tell. But yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna be a lot of fun from the looks of it. So I'm looking forward to that definitely. One thing I'm gonna try, because I'm conscious that I keep forgetting to turn the music back on, and I'm conscious of the VOD. We're gonna try, and if it doesn't work, we're gonna try leaving the music on just whilst the trailer is going. Hopefully, for anyone watching live, the trailer audio should overwhelm the background music, and it shouldn't make too much of a difference. If it's a little cluttered and messy, we won't do it again. But I don't want to keep forgetting to turn the music back on for those watching the VOD. So we're going to leave it on, but I will turn it down just so that hopefully it doesn't overwhelm the trailer audio too much. We'll try it for the next show, and if it doesn't work out, we won't do it again. But it's worth trying, I think, otherwise I'm just going to keep forgetting. So we're going to move on to show number 4, which is, I don't even remember at this point, is it season 4 or season 5 of Danmachi? I honestly couldn't tell you. The show has had so many seasons at this point that I don't remember if we're on season 4 or season 5. Oh, but it's got the same Roman numerals as the one on top of as Overlord, so by that logic, it has to be season 4, right? Oh, I'm going to go off that logic. So I assume this is a season 4 of Danmachi. This one actually has a synopsis to read, so we'll do that. But yeah, Danmachi is an interesting one. It's one of those shows where the title doesn't really reflect the nature of the show. Because as much as this is kind of about romance, it's not so much the focus as the title would imply, I think. Like, I think the English title is, it probably puts a lot of people off initially, right? Because it just kind of sounds like, really cliche, ecchi harem sort of thing. Just going off of the way that the title's worded. But there is more to, so much more to the show than that if you actually give it a chance, I think. It's got world building and lore and um, complex characters and all that good jazz that we love to see. It's even got like its own spin-offs and stuff. It had like the one with god, names are escaping me. What was her name? The blonde sword fighter from Loki, from the Loki party. I don't remember. Names escape me, but you know who I mean, right? She had her entire own spin-off, so it's almost like its own franchise in its own right, right? Um, which something like a generic cliche harem thing wouldn't be able to pull off. But yeah, Danmachi is another one that I've been watching since it's aired. Well, no, I'll take that back. I didn't watch season 1 when it came out. By the time I got into anime, it was already out. But every season from that, I've watched since it was airing. And yeah, no, I've been really enjoying just like all the introduction of the new characters, just seeing how the Hestia clan has moved up in the ranks. It's been really fun to see them evolve and grow as a party. And just seeing like Belle's character development, of course. It's a fun one. Which I know I've said a lot, but that's because a lot of these shows just are a lot of fun, to be honest. But yeah, no, it's got a surprising amount of world building and lore for a show that doesn't really give off that vibe initially. So yeah, no, I'm hyped for season 4. So let's see if they've got any PVs. They've got digests. We won't bother with those. I think we're just gonna watch PV1 and PV2. I know some of the bottom stuff has like subtitles, but I want to prioritize footage, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna check out these PVs. Eyes? Is it Eyes? Is that her name? Yeah, so this is all footage from the older seasons. Is this whole trailer old footage? Very possibly. Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll finish it since we started it. Is the end of the trailer gonna have new shit? Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Looks like we're spending a lot of time in the dungeon this season. A lot of time in the dungeon. I love Belle's new drip. The blue and the red contrasting armor. Nice. Nice look. So is this whole season going to be in the dungeon? It kind of gives off that vibe, at least from what the initial trailer shows. Let's see if the second trailer has a little bit more. Ah yes, little Rugi. Uh-oh. Is the Fox Girl gonna use some sketchy magic to boost her power? That never works. Never works. The squad? Have they got, like, color-coded uniforms there? Like, they're all wearing blue. Yeah, no, that armor is sick. It's definitely Belle's best look so far. Oh, no! Oh, here comes the opening. Is that... It's not the same chick from the previous season, is it? No. They both got, like, blue skin, but the other one didn't have, like, the scales. Nice. Okay, yeah, so definitely from the vibe the trailers are giving off, this is a very dungeon-heavy season. It looks like they're basically just going on one big mission in the dungeon, and they just have to they have to go down the dungeon, and I assume it must be, I assume maybe it's some kind of rescue mission, but it's kind of hard to tell. But it definitely looks like basically the whole gang is gonna go in the dungeon together, and do whatever the mission entails. But yeah, it looks like we're going to be spending a lot of time in there, which I'm totally down for. I'd love to learn some more about the dungeon, because one thing that I think one thing I really like about the show is the way it kind of like you learn more and more about like the dungeon and the different floors as you progress through the story and you go further and further down. So I think this season will give a great opportunity to like maybe go even further down in the dungeon and to levels we haven't explored yet. And maybe even learn more secrets. So that'll be really, really interesting. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm conscious I'm repeating myself a lot. Just add it to my list. Be the first one I have to highlight in blue. It's a high dive title. Okay. I'm conscious we've been streaming for 50 minutes and we have only gotten through 5 shows. So, I've got time to do like another hour. So we can definitely get through at least a few more of these. I don't know if we're going to get through the whole thing today. So I might have to do a second part. I'm a little conflicted because I wanted to get my list done tonight. Just for myself. So I think we're just gonna let's see where we're at in another hour. It may just be that some of the later stuff I just take a look at by myself, because again I want to get my list done, and I've been deliberately avoiding the chart, so that I could browse all the shows on stream. But yeah, we'll see. I think we're gonna try our best to rapid fire these. So I'll try not to talk about each show too much, because I want to get through as much of it as we can. So we're just going to move on to this one that is going to be a good one. Rent-A-Girlfriend Season 2. This one is bizarre. I don't even know where to begin with the show. It's strange. It's strange, and yet somehow it's so easy to get invested in. Oh, I just realized I completely forgot to read the DanMachi synopsis. Okay, well, for the sake of time, we'll just not worry about synopsis. At least for the sequels, because like if you've seen seasons like the previous seasons, you know what these shows are about. I think I still will for the later ones, but we gotta keep the pace going. What was I saying? Yeah, no, this show is weird. It's I don't really know what to say. It's... Sorry, my brain is going completely blank. I think that's just the mood that this show puts me in. It's like, I just don't know what to say about it, to be honest. It's just bizarre. That's all I have to say, really. I don't really know what else to say beyond that. Just that it's strange, and yet, despite its strangeness, you end up getting invested in the characters, and you want to see how the relationships evolve, despite the weirdness and the comedic chaoticness that the show brings. So this one's going to be a hilarious one. I suspect it's going to be talked about a lot. It's probably going to have some great memorable moments, some great screenshot stuff, etc, etc. It's one of the meme ones. It's the meme one. So let's just watch some of these PVs and see how chaotic this is really going to be. We're just gonna watch the one. I'm gonna watch the one because I'm gonna try and rapid fire these as much as I can. Oh boy, great start. Any character voiced by Rei Takahashi is instantly a favorite. The opening, okay. What did she say? This is a rom-com anime, you're not allowed to confess. Okay. I was literally going to say at the end of this PV that I hope we get, like, some kind of, like, progression on the romance, and that it's not just all stuck in a constant stalemate all season. But there was a confession inside the trailer. So, that answers that question, I guess. I've had a little bit of time whilst we were watching the trailer to kind of get my words together in my head. Basically, to better clarify what I was trying to say before, I love any show that can blend really wacky comedy with genuine, serious character development and touching moments. It's kind of in the same vein as something like Dr. Stone, where you take two completely separate elements and blend them together to make something new. It's just a really nice thing that I love when any show can do it and pull it off well. And I think Rent-A-Girlfriend is one of those ones. I'd say the comedy definitely takes a precedence in this one a little bit more than maybe the seriousness. But when the touching moments are there, they're really, really good. And it gets you invested a lot quicker than you'd think. So yeah, I'm excited for this. It's going to probably produce a lot of laughs and a lot of OMG moments. So I look forward to seeing how crazy it gets this time. From the looks of the PV, it's going to definitely be another wacky one. Again, I promise I'm not picking up literally everything. It's just because... So obviously some of the more popular titles are a little bit more obvious, you know? But I do watch a lot. I do tend to watch about, between 10 to 15 shows a season. So usually the big ones, especially like the sequels, I almost always pick up. But yeah, we need to keep moving if we're going to try and tackle the list. So I think we are beyond the sequels now, or at least everything besides Made in Abyss, which we'll cover in a minute. But this Isekai one looks like it's... how is this... okay, Made in Abyss is supposed to be like extremely popular, right? Like it won Anime of the Year in its respective year, right? How is another Isekai overwhelmed it in popularity? What happened here? Like, I get this is just one chart, but still. Come on, man. Come on. Isekai fans... I used to be really, really into Isekai, and I still am to an extent. Especially when you get those unique Isekai. But on top of the unique titles, I did watch a lot of generic stuff. But now, more so, I do tend to filter out the more generic stuff in favor of other shows that do different stuff. But we'll see, this one might have a unique twist. We're gonna read the synopsis for this one since it is a new show. It's called My Isekai Life, which is, not exactly a unique title. But we'll see if the plot or the synopsis has any unique take. Again, apologies if I stutter. I will try my best to read it as clearly as I can, but we will just see how we go. Let's have a look. Getting isekai'd into a magical world and developing incredible powers is every otaku's wildest dream. For salaryman Yuji Sano, it is the stuff of absolute nightmare. He is in the middle of a mountain of work when he gets unwittingly pulled into a fantasy realm where he accomplishes the inviolable feat. Is that the inviolable? Invivial? I have no idea what that word means. Inviolable feat of developing a second character class by making the most of his monster tamer abilities. Now he's traded the office for adventuring to make a living. But he keeps getting roped into major events because his powers are unmatched, second to none, and he doesn't even realize it yet. Okay, so the answer to my question is no. The show doesn't sound like it offers anything unique. We've had isekai characters that don't actually want to be there before. That's not a unique thing. And once again, he's a majorly overpowered protagonist. And he's getting roped into all these major events that he didn't really sign up for. Yeah. Okay. I'm probably going to skip this. We'll watch the trailer. Maybe the animation will pull me in. But just going off the synopsis, I'm not really digging it. But let's see what the trailers have to offer. I think, for time's sake, we're going to watch one PV instead of two for each show. So we'll just prioritize whatever the latest PV is, because it'll probably show the most amount of stuff. But yeah, for the sake of time, we're going to just watch one PV per show now. Let's see if the trailer has anything to offer. Okay, he's got a dog. We love companions. Yeah, I mean, he looks generic too, right? Okay, we got a talking dog. And talking slimes as well, from the looks of it. It's like the only thing selling me right now. I mean, the slimes look like they're going to be a fun bit. They are appearing very, very prominently in this trailer. that monster looks straight up like Godzilla. I love that. I'm gonna be honest, not feeling it. Besides the slimes, which look like they're going to provide a lot of comedic banter, and obviously the talking dog companion, the show doesn't look like it's going to be doing anything particularly unique. And as I've said, I don't really want to watch more generic isekai. I've seen so many now. And I'd rather prioritize some of the more interesting titles. So, yeah, we'll be skipping this one. But yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. He didn't look that interesting, to be honest. The animation wasn't anything interesting. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't breathtaking. So yeah, I'm going to be skipping this one personally. So let's just move on to the next one, which is Made in Abyss Season 2. No synopsis. Right, I haven't seen the movie that ties into this. I've seen all of Season 1, and it was amazing, and I loved it, and the ending made me cry. It didn't make me cry, but it made me want to cry. But there's a movie in between these two seasons, right? And I need to watch that. I believe it's on High Dive, so I think I'm gonna make a point of trying to watch it before month end, because I do want to watch Made in Abyss Season 2. I'm almost conscious of not watching the PV because I don't want to spoil anything for myself. So again, I haven't seen the movie, but I don't want to not watch it for those who do want to watch it right now. So we'll check it out. But yeah, I love Made in Abyss. It starts off so wholesome and then gets pretty dark, especially towards the end. Like the final episodes definitely shook me, because there's some horrific stuff in that stuff, man. But very interested to see where the plot goes beyond that. So let's just check out the final PV. Not Myth and Royd. Oh no! No, sorry, when I think of Myth and Royd, I always think of like really dark, like fantasies. Like they give off that dark fantasy vibe. This was just a kind of another reminder that the plot is not going to be sunshine and rainbows. Okay, I'm not seeing anything of like the two main characters. I assume they're in this, right? Okay. Well, there was nothing of the two main characters in this one. Oh my god. I didn't mean to click that. Oh, it looks like they appear in some of the other PVs though, but again, we're a little confined. Pardon me. We're a little confined on time, so unfortunately we don't really have time to check them out. But looks like it's gonna have like its own very focused arc, a brand new narrative with a whole new set of characters that I assume the main cast are gonna get wrapped into somehow. And it looks like there's gonna be a character that they have to help out of this horrible situation, and then they'll probably end up joining the party. Who knows? But yeah, no, it looks like it's gonna be another dark one, another serious one. But I'm interested to see where it goes, to be honest. I hope, in spite of all the darkness that this season will almost definitely bring, I hope it has some positive lightheartedness as well. Because I would love to see the characters have some joy in their lives as well, to be completely honest with you. But yeah, I will be watching that as long as I remember to watch the dang film. So let me just add that to my list. believe this is another High Dive title, so we'll just highlight that. I need to take a quick break. I will not be long, because again, I'm conscious of time, and I want to keep going, but it'll literally be like a minute. And then I'll be right back, and we'll jump into whatever's next. So I will be right back. Alright, and we're back. I did say I was not going to be long, so let's keep this let's keep this train moving. I think now we can confidently say we are out of the sequel realm. So these are all new titles now, which is good because now we can learn together as opposed to me just rambling on about stuff I've already seen. So let's take a look at some of these new shows and see what they have to offer. Yeah, give me 1 second. I just need to change my Windows stuff. Okay, let's keep this moving. Let's keep this train moving. The next one is Harem in the Labyrinth of Another World. God dang it. I don't want to look at another isekai. I don't want it. I don't want it. Okay, fine. Fine. We'll look at it, okay? Is this what you wanted? Looks like it's an ecchi as well. God damn it. So it's always gonna happen. Like I've seen enough seasonal charts to know that there was gonna be more isekai, right? But even though you know it's coming, it upsets you every single time because you want to believe in that little bit of you that you want to believe that maybe this will be the season where it changes, and it never ever does. Okay, fine. We'll read it. We'll watch it, but I won't like it. I won't be happy. Harem in Labyrinth of Another World. Struggling with life and society, high school student Michio Kaga wanders about the internet and lands on an odd website. The website featuring a number of questions and point-based... The website featuring a number of questions and a point-based system allows one to create skills and abilities for each character. Upon completing his character, Kaga was transported into the game-like fantasy world and reborn as a strong man who can claim idol-level girls. Thus begins the cheat and harem legend of a reborn man. This sounds like the plot of not an anime, if you catch my drift. I'm almost scared to watch the PV. Do I dare risk it? I'm frightened. Do we risk it? There's only one and it's only 30 seconds long. I want to say how bad can it be, but you can cram a lot into 30 seconds. So I think we're going to brave it because it is short. But I fear for my innocence and the innocence of my chat. But we will brave it. We're going to power through this like a champ. I dare not say, well, this isn't so bad, because then something will happen like that. But I did expect this to be a lot worse, to be fair. Okay, I'm not going to watch that for the same reason. It's just another isekai. It looked even more generic than the last one we looked at. And I'm just not interested in it, to be honest. Like, I have seen my fair share of ecchi anime. I've refused to elaborate further on that. But I won't just watch it for the sake of watching it. And again, this show doesn't really look like it has much to offer beyond that. So we're going to be skipping this one. And that's all I really have to say. I don't really want to talk about this one anymore. We're going to move on, because the next one I'm actually pretty excited for. Call of the Night. I watched a Gigok video on this, and he made it sound really, really fun. And really, really exciting. And I have seen bits of trailers and stuff and footage and here and there. It looks like it's got a lot of love in the animation. That came out wrong. It looks like it's had a lot of work put into it. It just looks like a high production anime. So I am excited to see what this one's all about. Maybe it'll be a new popular favorite of the season for the community. So it's definitely been hyped up a bit. So I am very excited. This is probably my most anticipated non-sequel of the season. I think that's fair to say. So yeah, let's read the synopsis. Call of the Night. Racked by insomnia and wanderlust, Ko Yamori is driven onto the moonlit streets every night in an aimless search for something he can't seem to name. His nightly ritual is marked by purposeless introspection until he meets Nazuna, who might just be a vampire. Ko's new companion could offer him dark gifts and a vampire's immortality, but there are conditions that must be met before Ko can sink his teeth into vampirism. And he'll have to discover just how far he's willing to go to satisfy his desires before he can heed the call of the night. Okay, so random loner wanders the streets every night and he stumbles upon a vampire, and the vampire's like, hey, you want to not be bored anymore? Be a vampire, but you gotta prove that you're up to it. That sounds fun. It sounds like I assume it's a comedy? It's not. It's a romance shonen supernatural vampire. Okay. I mean, it sounds like it'll probably definitely have comedic elements at least. But let's see what the PVs have to offer, shall we? Let's go with the main PV. Let me full screen, damn it. Thank you. Yeah, like, this is what I'm talking about with the animation. Like, everything looks so clean. Yeah, the animation value in this one looks good. It's really colorful as well. Like all the night lights and stuff. Such a really cool aesthetic. Oh boy. The opening is called what? It's a bob. I'll give it that. Other vampires as well, not just her, huh? This one's gonna be fun. This one's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait. This one looks... Oh. Yeah. Okay. That looks really, really fun. And it looks amazing, like, visually. Just the aesthetic of it looks so good. I can't wait. I don't know what else to say. It looks like it's gonna be a really interesting one. Um, if nothing else, it's going to look amazing. And from what I've heard from videos I've seen, it's a really, really interesting story. So I can't wait to see how it's adapted. This one is going on the list. All of the Night. All of the Night. We're going to turn the music up a little bit. It's a little quiet, huh? Hopefully that's a little bit better for people watching the VOD. Yeah, this stream is very much a learning experience for me. I'm learning a lot from doing this stream and the do's and don'ts of what I need to do going forward if I try to do more. But I'll talk about that more later. I want to keep going for now. Oh boy, it's another ecchi. Okay. Okay. That's fine. I'm an adult. We can get through this. It's fine. It's not like I'm like I said, I've seen my fair share, but I'm just a little subconscious about talking about it on one stream and stuff. But, you know, we will. This next one is called Vermeil in Gold. A magician pushes through the magical world with the strongest disaster. This is a light novel. Okay, that's a... Well, no, it says it's a manga. There's no way. That's a light novel title. Come on now. Do not try to tell me that that's a manga. Come on. That's cap. That's... Okay. Alright, I'm a little bit conscious about this one because I swear I've seen clips of it. Well, I think I saw a trailer in passing at one point and I was just like, oh no. Let's just read it. Meet how on earth do you Alto? Hapless student at a Royal Ortigaya Magic Academy, whose academic performance leaves much to be desired. Rather than take more sensible approach to salvaging his grades in time for graduation, Alto decides to summon a bit of otherworldly assistance. Only after does he learn he's bound to the legendary she-devil Vermeil into service as his familiar. While Vermeil is a powerful ally, sure to turn his grades around, her magic can only be replenished with a kiss, of course. And that makes everything go to hell with Alto's jealous childhood friend Lilia. Oh boy, there's a childhood friend too. Oh god. Yeah. I mean, this it's a fan service anime. Like it's built to be a fan service anime. And you can tell because it sounds like the plot of something else. So yeah. I mean, again, if I do watch an ecchi anime, it usually has to have something else to offer besides it just being ecchi. And this doesn't really sound like it does. So I probably won't be watching it. But we will brave a PV. We'll brave one single PV. Hopefully it's okay for Twitch. If it's not, we'll turn it off. But we'll see. I'm not full screening this one just in case I have to quickly close it. Yeesh. Yeah, I've seen enough.
you get the idea. If you're into it, you're into it. But I've seen enough. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Yeah, I'm gonna be skipping this one. I just don't feel the need to watch anything like that at the moment. So I won't. But if you want to watch it, more power to you. But I don't really feel like it, so I will not be watching it. We're gonna move on to the next one. Okay, this one has an interesting title. It's gonna be one of those shows. You can already tell by the title alone. My stepmom's daughter is my ex. Okay. Oh no. God, why? Why does Kaname always do this? I just wanted to have a fun say so. Anime chart stream. This is hurting me. Okay, well at the very least it looks like it's not an ecchi, it's just a comedy. So we can watch the PV and whatnot, but like... Yeah, okay. High school, is there any better place to start fresh after a horrible middle school relationship? Nope, not unless your ex ends up at the same school as you're in now and is your step-sibling. What was supposed to be a sanctuary of peace where I could avoid ever seeing her again has become a living nightmare. Everywhere I look, I see her in my house, in my school, in my class. There's no escape. She even claims that she's the older sibling. Like hell she is. But I won't lose to her. After all, I am the older brother in this new family situation. That's right, we're a family now. No matter how much we may have thought we loved each other before, when we saw one another's true colours and realised we weren't meant for each other. That's why even though we may keep up a buddy-buddy sibling act for the sake of our parents, things will never go back to the way they used to be. Yeah, this sounds like Domestic Girlfriend. But I haven't seen Domestic Girlfriend, but as I've said before in this stream, I watch a lot of Giguk, and he's obsessed with it, and I've heard as much as I feel like I need to hear about that show from his videos. And this just sounds like more of that. I'm not really into that sort of thing, personally. Like, I just don't find that like, oh no, my previous lover is now part of my family. Like, I don't know. Again, more power to you if, like, that's what you're into. I have nothing against people who like that sort of thing. It's just not. There are other things that I find funnier than this plotline, to be completely honest with you. We will watch the PV, but I've already pretty certain I'm not going to be watching it. We'll watch the longer one, shall we? It wouldn't be this kind of show without copious amounts of fan service. At least this one is slightly safer for Twitch, at least. The trailer is showing nothing, really. It's just two characters talking. I'm not seeing anything to draw me in here. Okay. Yeah, that PV showed me nothing. Okay, again, I reiterate what I've said before. It's just not for me, really. I just don't really find that dynamic funny, and there wasn't anything in that PV that gave me a reason to check it out, because it was literally just two characters talking to each other. Maybe that was my fault choosing the PV, but I wanted to pick the one that seemed like it would have the most stuff to offer, but somehow the longest PV had the least to show. So we're just going to move on from that one. Yeah, not for me, really. This one, hopefully now we can get back into some of the more interesting titles. The next one is a comedy, a rom-com. When will Hayumu make his first move? When Hayumu Tanaka falls in love with the only other member of his school shogi chess club, Urushi Yoitome, he vows to confess his love for her as soon as he can, He vows to confess his love to her as soon as he can. Sorry, I've read the sentence properly now. Let me. He vows to confess his love to her as soon as he can beat her in a match, but this proves difficult. Urushi is nevertheless thrown off by Ayumu's aggressive style as the two begin a cat-and-mouse game in both shogi and life in this heart-tickling romantic comedy. I've seen a couple anime about shogi, and I've yet to really understand how shogi works. It seems really complicated. I'm sure when you get into it, it's a little bit easier to follow, but I've never been able to really pick up what the game is about. I get that it's some kind of chess. It's like a different version of chess almost, but I don't know. It always seemed a little complicated and I had a hard time following it. So the shogi elements are definitely not what are going to be drawing me into the show. If the romantic comedy side of it looks to be entertaining from the trailer that we're about to watch, I might put it on the list. But if not, then we might be skipping. But let's see if the PVs have anything to offer. We'll go with PV2. Is this Dogo Kobo? I might be wrong, but it looks like it's got that kind of style. Just give it a bit of a tsundere vibe. Okay. I mean, yeah, it looks like a romantic comedy, a high school romantic comedy. Like, again, nothing particularly unique there, but it is a slice of life, so it doesn't really need to be unique. Not too much, at least. Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those ones where I check out the first couple of episodes, and if it draws me in, then I will continue watching it for the season. I almost always really love romantic comedies, so I'm definitely willing to give this one a go, but I can't guarantee I'm going to love it, just because, again, I have a hard time following shogi. But if the characters are entertaining, and the comedy is good, and the romance is good, then it could be a good one. I'm also conscious that I'm skipping quite a few, and I don't know how many we've got left, so I am willing to put it on the list for now. Maybe as we go further down, and I add more stuff to my list, maybe I'll change my mind, and I'll remove it, but for now, just at least to keep it in mind, we'll put it on there. We're gonna move on to the next one, which is called Black Summoner, an action fantasy. Waking up in a strange new place with no memories of his past life, is this an isekai? Okay, yeah, it is. God. I should have been able to tell by the visual, to be completely honest with you. But I was baited. I've disappeared. I've disappeared. Hold up. Hold up. I'm back. Thank you. Apologies. Sorry about that. We're back. Yeah, I should have been able to tell, but if you look at the key visual, it looks like an isekai, but we'll see. It might have something new to offer. He says. I mean, it's probably not. But we'll read the synopsis and check out the PV as I said we would, so we'll continue. Waking up in a strange new place with no memory of his past life, Kelvin learns that he's bartered away from those very memories in exchange for powerful new abilities during his recent transmigration, heading out in a whole new world as a summoner, with his first follower being the very goddess who brought him over. Kelvin begins his new life as an adventurer, and it isn't long before he discovers his hidden disposition as a battle junkie. From the black light of the ancient castle of evil spirits to the demon within the hidden cave of the sage, he revels in fights against one formidable foe after another. Join this OP adventurer in this exhilarating epic saga as he and his allies carve their way into the annals of history. That looked like something else, and I'm glad I didn't pronounce it as it looked like it was spelled. Yeah. Again, like, it's another power fantasy anime, isekai. There's not much to say there, to be honest. Let's see if the PV has anything to offer, and then I'll talk about my thoughts when I've got everything. I like some of the character designs. This red-haired girl has a really nice, like, aesthetic with her armor and stuff. Looks like there's a dude who's in full armor, but he's all CG. So that could go either way, to be honest. That could get really jarring really fast. Yeah. Another generic one, it looks like, to be completely honest with you. I mean, some of the character designs are definitely... they definitely look cool. I'll give it that. I like the character designs. That's the only positive thing I can really say. Other than that, it just looks like more of stuff we've seen before. So I'm probably going to skip this one as well. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think if you'd given me this show a couple years ago, I would have eaten it up. But I'm just so... I've got so much isekai fatigue now that I just don't want to watch it unless it's got a particularly interesting hook. So I think we'll be skipping this one. We're going to move on to the next one. Which is Isekai Yako... I cannot pronounce that. Yakyoku. Yakyoku? Okay, I'm gonna try not to pronounce that too much, because I don't want to misinterpret it or mispronounce it too much. Anyway, with the synopsis, a young pharmacologist and researcher in Japan died from overworking and was Wait, how many of these are there? I don't... I always... Anytime I'd watch like a seasonal anime video on YouTube, I'd always be like, surely you must expect this by now. Why are you getting so upset over all this isekai? And now I'm like doing the stream myself, and I'm just like, man, I don't want to talk about all these isekai when I have nothing to say. I mean, this one doesn't look like it's going to be like an action one, so maybe it's got like a... I think it looks like an isekai like slice of life number.
Uh, I don't know. We'll. I'm conflicted because I almost just want to skip it entirely. We'll keep going. I want. We will go through this one. I'm gonna probably stream for longer than I anticipated. I wanted to end the stream around 10 o'clock, but I think that's just not gonna happen. So we'll push through. I can probably stream for another hour extra until 11 BST. And with that extra hour, we should be able to get through almost all of these. Or at least some of the bigger ones. Okay, we'll read it. We'll just keep going. A young pharmacologist and researcher in Japan died from overworking and was reincarnated as in a medical parallel Europe. He was reincarnated as a 10-year-old apprentice to a famous royal court pharmacist and had attained an inhuman skills of ability to see through disease, material creation, and material destruction. I don't know if I read that sentence correctly. Pardon me, sorry. In a society in which dubious medical practices are rampant, price gouging through the monopoly of the pharmacist guild and good medicine aren't available for the commoners. He was recognized by the emperor at that time and opened a pharmacy at the corner of the town. He will wipe out the fraud that has swept the world and deliver the commoners a truly effective medicine that was developed using present-day pharmacology. Thus, the boy pharmacist will cheat by using his previous knowledge and create innovative medicines while helping the people of the parallel world. A story about living in his new life to the fullest this time. Okay, I think that was less me and more the translation of this synopsis, but this is almost definitely the plot of shows that I've heard of before in previous seasons. I think there was a show called In Another World with Life in Another World in a drugstore or something like that. I don't remember the exact name, but the premise was almost identical to this. So again, really not my brain's gone blank. Really not doing anything unique here. We'll watch the PV out of principle, but I really am watching it out of principle. It's a 2-minute trailer, god dang. Are all the supporting characters female by chance? Okay, so it looks like he's going to have some kind of deep backstory, so there is that at least. Looks like it's taking definitely a slightly more serious approach than the drugstore anime.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just repeating myself. There's not much more to say that I haven't said about all these other shows. It's another show that's not really offering anything we haven't seen before, and I've never really been into shows about like medicine and stuff that came out wrong. I don't know. There's something about I just don't really. How do I word this in a way that makes sense? Like, there have been a couple shows that have dealt with like pharmaceutical plot lines, right? And on to a certain level, it's interesting, but I personally just don't find it all that entertaining. I don't know. I don't really know how to word it in a way that makes sense. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It doesn't look very interesting to me. And again, it's nothing we haven't seen before, so I'm not going to be watching that one. Also, I love how this second half of the stream has been almost the polar opposite of the first half, where I'm honestly not picking up a good chunk of these. In comparison to the first half, where I was picking up almost everything. I know for a fact there are some other shows later on in this list that I'm definitely going to be watching. So it's not that I'm only watching the sequels, I'm not watching the originals, it's just that we're stumbling upon a lot of bad apples at the moment. For some reason, the generic isekai anime always end up closer to the top of the list. I do not know why, but they all seem to be clustered together, which makes it hard to, like... You end up just getting a lot of the same stuff, I guess. But, yeah, no, there's definitely more down further in the list that I do want to talk about in more detail. So, yeah, we're going to move on to... I don't know what this is. It's called Engage Kiss, which already feels like a red flag. It doesn't have an ecchi tag, so maybe it's okay. It's a comedy, romance, supernatural, which could be really great or really terrible, but since there's, like, no synopsis, I have no idea what to expect from the show. So we'll just see if the PV tells us anything about what to expect. But, yeah, I'm not seeing... Obviously, there's not a lot to go off of right now, so we'll just have to see what happens after the trailer, I guess. Okay, it's got some nice animation. Yeah, it's definitely a comedy. I'd like to see, like, the supernatural... Oh, okay, here we go. There's some supernatural-ish stuff. Oh, the action, though? The fights? It might be worth watching this show for the action, at least. That's some fluid animation. Okay, I'm feeling it. Okay. So there's stuff there's a little bit more to talk about with this one, I think. There's stuff here that I like and stuff that I'm not as big a fan of. Start with the negatives. The negatives is obviously probably the obvious, which is that there very much seems to be this thing within the power system where they have to be powered up by, I assume, kissing, which is really, really stupid. However, what I will say is everything apart from that looks really cool. I like the aesthetic, and I adore the animation, especially in the fights and stuff. Yeah, when the action started popping off at the end of that trailer there, I was like, oh, okay. I'm a sucker for, like, fight scenes with really cool looking animation. Because I have a big monkey brain when it comes to visuals. So if you give me just like some really fast and fluid fighting, usually that's just enough to draw me in. And this show had that. So I'm definitely going to give it a go. I don't know if the plot might drag the show down, but the action was enough to make me curious. It's enough to make me want to at least give it a go. We'll see if the story lives up to the quality of the animation, and even if the animation quality stays consistent. Because they very well may have just shown us the best of what they had to offer there. But yeah, no, the fights in that looked entertaining enough to at least make me want to give it a go. But I am wary that the plot may bring this one down. So for now, we'll add it to the list. But we will see. We will see if it ends up being any good. Yeah, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Okay, this is a Netflix one because I've seen Netflix promoted it a little bit. I don't know what to expect from this, but it's another isekai, but it's one with a slightly unique plotline, I think. Autumn 2017. Oh, sorry, I forgot to name the title. It's Uncle in Another World. Autumn 2017, hit by a truck when he was 17 years old. Truck-kun, he's back. As much as we hate generic isekai, Truck-kun will always be a treasured member of the isekai fandom. Anyway, hit by a truck when he was 17 years old, Takami's uncle suddenly awakes from a coma that lasted 17 years. When Takafumi visits him in the hospital, he sees his uncle muttering nonsense, declaring he has returned from another world named Gran Bahamel. Clearly, his uncle has lost his marbles. Takafumi is lost for words, but his uncle proves his claims of being in another dimension by using some magic. Sorry, let me read that again. Takafumi is lost for words, but his uncle proves his claims of being in another dimension by using magic. Deciding to use his uncle's powers to earn a living, and with no other relatives to call upon, Takafumi takes him in and they begin to share an apartment together. While living with his uncle, Takafumi learns of his fantastical adventures with his boundless love of Sega video games. But at the same time, his uncle's lonely and cruel experiences fill Takafumi with both joy and sadness. Two men on different generations work hard to be video content creators. What? In this new and exciting otherworldly comedy set in the corner of an apartment complex. Okay, there are layers to this that I didn't expect when reading it. First off, they just outright name Sega. So is this gonna have like Sega promotion in it? And then suddenly they're like, yeah, they're gonna be content creators? Okay, this is actually a reverse isekai then, because like the uncle is coming from another world, right? Or at least his consciousness is. This is where you can take an isekai formula and just do something completely different with it. And this is the sort of stuff that I want to see more of. One thing I'm not sure of is this actually airing weekly, or is this going to be like a Netflix batch dump? I'm going to quickly check. Let me just make sure that Netflix isn't going to play any audio. I think we're okay. I just want to see, because you never know what to expect when Netflix drop an anime. It doesn't say how they plan on releasing it. Let me quickly see if I can find any information about how this is dropping. Just because if it is like a batch release, I'm obviously not going to put it on the list. I've received a DM. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, I was just looking at Uncle from Another World. Let me see if I can find.
Okay, there's no information, at least that I can find within this short time period, that tells us when this is coming out. So for now, we're going to treat it as if it's a weekly, and I know it very much may not be, but we'll treat it as if it is, and then if it's not, I can always take it off later. But let's see the PVs, because I really want to know more about this one. This one sounds hilarious. That Dio. Sonic and Tails. Yep, no, there's just straight up Sonic the Hedgehog in this, okay. I like the opening. I really like the animation too. Yeah, this OP really, really good. Okay, this looks really, really funny. I hope it's a weekly show just so that I can keep up with it. But even if it's not, I'm definitely going to check it out whenever it drops on Netflix. This looks hilarious. The fact that they're able to use Sega licensing as well, that's just amazing. And yeah, it looks like it just looks like a really good comedy. I don't know what to say. It looks like it's gonna have some unexpected twists as well. Like, it looks like it's gonna deal with some seriousness as well as humor, which, as I've said before, I always like. Putting that on the list, hands down, putting that on the list. That looks hysterical. Please, Netflix, release this weekly. You do it for Komi-san, so please do it for this. I want it to be part of my seasonal lineup. That's all I really have to say about this. It's a surprise hit. Looks like it's gonna be really, really fun. Can't wait. We're gonna move on though. Shadow House Season 2. I'm gonna skip this one because I haven't seen Shadow House Season 1, so I have nothing to say. It looked good from clips and stuff I've seen. I just never got around to watching it. So I can't really comment on it. I can't really comment on something I haven't seen. And I can't really comment on what to expect from a second season of a show I haven't seen. So I hope Shadow House fans will enjoy it. I'm sure it'll be great. Again, it looks really, really fun from stuff I've seen. Whoopsie. There we go. Sorry. It looks really, really fun from stuff I've seen, but yeah, I can't really say much because I haven't seen it. Maybe I'll check it out eventually, but I'm just having a hard time fitting in new shows outside of like my seasonals and stuff at the moment. So we'll see. But we are gonna skip it just because I can't really comment on something I haven't seen. Next one. The Maid I Hired Recently is Mysterious. It's a comedy shonen slice of life. Okay. There's something really strange about the maid I just hired. A normal person could be so beautiful or cook such amazingly delicious food and know exactly what I want before I even ask. She must be using magic, right? A spell is the only thing that can explain why my chest feels so tight whenever I look at her. I swear I'm going to get to the bottom of what makes this maid so mysterious. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this sounds like a fan service anime, but we will see. Prove me wrong. Probably won't.
Does anyone else think? Does anyone else think he looks a little bit like Rudius from Mushoku Tensei, with much blonder hair? I don't know if this show's going to offer anything outside of what the synopsis implies. Which would be fine if it was just like maybe 1 or 2 episodes, but I don't know if that's enough to carry a 12-episode show. Maybe there's more in the later episodes, but though literally we've only seen 2 characters in that PV, it didn't imply that there were any other supporting casts. I mean, surely there are, but it just doesn't really feel like it's enough to carry a whole show. So I'm probably going to be skipping this one, to be honest. It looks pretty, I'll give it that. But that's all I feel like it's currently got going for it. So we will move on. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. Action, fantasy, sci-fi, seinen, supernatural. What the heck is a biscuit hammer? Is it as literal as it sounds? Is it a literal hammer made out of biscuits, or is it like more metaphorical? Maybe the synopsis will tell us. Everything about college student hang on, give me a second. Amamiya. Everything about college student Amamiya Yuhi is average. Grades, looks, and his bias outlook on life. So, is that a bias? Lace? I'm going to say bias. Bias outlook on life. So, what happens when he awakens one day to a talking lizard who informs him that there is a gigantic hammer in outer space poised to split Earth into pieces, and requests his allegiance in the power to fight against the forces of evil. Pretend it never happened. Unfortunately for Yuhi, a little bit of coercion in the form of superpowered princess prevents him from returning to his mediocre life as usual. In its adventure of the lifetime, Yuhi will join forces with the unpredictable princess and seek out a multi-crew of companions to fight back against an evil mage and his horrifyingly powerful homunculus before the Biscuit Hammer destroys the planet. Excuse me? This is very much in the same vein as like the Uncle anime, where this has to be one of the most bizarre synopses I've ever read. And I'm entirely here for it. Let's see if the PV is as bizarre as the synopsis. It's only 30 seconds. Oh man, I wish we'd had a longer PV for that, because the synopsis sounds so good and that PV just did not have the time to showcase any of it. We saw a little bit of the lizard and we saw the girl who I assume is the princess, but that's all we saw. And yeah, I would have loved to have seen more there. But the synopsis is bizarre and interesting enough that it has drawn my attention, and so we will be adding this to the list. Whether or not it's as good as the synopsis implies it's going to be remains to be seen, but it just sounds so bizarre that I can't not at least give it a go. So we're going to add it. Currently I am at 11 shows, so I probably only want to add a few more, and then we may shuffle some things around, remove some things, see how we go. I want to try and get through the next 2 rows, maybe 3 rows. I don't know how fast we're going to be able to do that. But there's some shows in the next couple rows that I definitely want to highlight. I mean, like I said, I can go for another hour, and we've gotten through how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4,
5 in 2 hours. So I should be able to get through another 3 in 1, right? We'll see. I don't really want to stream further than 11 p.m. So we will give it a go and see what happens. Sorry, I know I'm talking a lot about like my thought process out loud. Like I said, this stream is very much a learning experience for me, and it's just a little bit easier for me to go through my thoughts out loud. But whenever I decide to do another one of these, I'm gonna try and hopefully streamline it from everything I've learned today. But again, I won't dwell too much because we are stretched for time. So we're gonna continue to power through these as quick as we can so we can get through as many as possible. The next one, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. We're just going to call it Mask of Truth because I do not know how to pronounce that first word and I'm not going to try. It's an action drama fantasy, looks very like medieval. We'll see. Counting on you, boy. Yamato descends into chaos following the death of the Emperor Oshuturu, the General of the Right. Is a fugitive accused of poisoning Empress Anju. In a battle with his pursuers, he uses the full power of the Akaruka, fusing his body and soul with the world itself. Before he says goodbye, he entrusts Anju and Nekone's future to his friend Haku. Taking up Oshuturu's mask and identity, Haku abandons his old life. He tells everyone except Nekone, who knows the truth, that he is Oshuturu. They escape to Enakumi, where Anju begins to recover and she rises up to reclaim the rightful place as Empress. But Raikou, one of the elite Pillar generals, attempts to take advantage of the chaos and puts a false Empress on the throne. Yamato's armies soon march for Enaku to kill the true Empress. A war is about to begin and that will engulf all of Yamato. The last chapter in the Utawarumono series. Oh, is this a sequel? All the mysteries are about to be revealed. Okay. I didn't realize this because I'd never heard of it before, but this looks like it's a sequel. And I didn't really absorb any of what I just heard, and that may be why, because it is a sequel. In which case, we're going to skip it because I'm not really into like military stuff, even like fantasy military stuff. It's just not really my jam. And if this is a sequel to something I haven't seen before, then I'm obviously going to skip it. But yeah, we're going to move on. This one I'm really, really, really excited for. RWBY Ice Queendom. I haven't admittedly watched RWBY for a while, but I have watched up to either Volume 4 or Volume 5. I think Volume 5. And this, from what I understand, is an anime story set between Volumes 1 and 2. Or 2 and 3. I can't remember. Either way, it's set within the time frame of the show that I've actually seen. And stuff I've seen of like the character designs for the anime and stuff, it looks like it might be the thing that gets me back into RWBY. I didn't stop watching it for any particular reason. I just sort of naturally fell off it. But I never had anything against it. I always loved the characters and the story was always really, really entertaining. So I'm really, really excited to see a brand new story with a completely new style of animation done by an actual Japanese studio, Shaft no less. So you know the animation's going to be good. And you know, RWBY was always made with the intention of it being like an anime. So seeing that actually come to life and seeing the show actually become a real anime, so I know going to be really, really satisfying for the people working behind the scenes who created the show. And for fans as well, seeing the story become what it was always trying to be, if that makes sense, I think it's just really, really satisfying. And we're going to get to revisit a lot of characters that we haven't seen in ages, like Pyrrha, who I always loved. I can't believe she's coming back. I can't wait. And yeah, it's just going to be a lot of fun. I believe this has been licensed by Crunchyroll already. Let's see. We're going to read the synopsis because it is a new story. So we'll see if the synopsis tells us anything about what this story is going to be about. In the world of Remnant, a place where science and fairy tales coexist, human civilization is plagued by deadly monsters known as Grimm. For a time, victory by the Grimm seemed all but certain, if not for the heroism of those sworn to protect humanity, huntsmen and huntresses. The warriors are trained and assembled into teams of schools like Beacon Academy, where Ruby meets Weiss and Blake, forming Team Ruby along with Ruby's sister Yang. Where Team Ruby studies to White Team Ruby studies to become great hunter. I think that's supposed to say while. I think that's a typo. While Team Ruby studies to become the greatest huntresses of the world of Remnant has ever known, they are faced with a horrifying threat. Okay, unfortunately that synopsis didn't tell us anything. That is more of a general synopsis of Ruby as a whole. But I am excited. I want to watch PV. This one's got English subtitles, so we're gonna watch it. Let's go. I'm excited. I think I've seen this trailer actually. So we'll watch it again. I mean, yeah, what can I say? The animation looks clean. The character designs are faithful to the original show, which you love to see. Yeah, Weiss sounds like a typical Ojo-sama, which is perfect for her. We love Yang. Let's go. I'm so excited for this. Yeah, animation. It's Shaft. I don't know what else to say. It looks clean. It looks amazing. I just feel like if you've seen Ruby and you especially loved like the earlier seasons, you almost have to watch this. This just feels like Ruby's final form. Like the show, not the character, obviously. Yeah. Oh, hello. Yeah. I actually completely forgot, but this is actually like a 2-in-1 deal, right? So it starts off adapting the initial season, and then after it's done adapting the initial season, it goes into its new plot, from what I understand. Because a lot of that PV was obviously like the adaptation of the original season, which I'm entirely here for, because like the first season was amazing, and seeing it now with this brand new animation style, I think is just going to bring back so many amazing memories for all fans. So I can't wait to see what they do, and I'm really excited to see what this new narrative is that they bring alongside the adaptation of the first season. So yeah, can't wait for that. That's an instant add-on to the list. And I believe this one's already been licensed, so we can highlight that one too. Okay, let's move on. Orient Part 2. Haven't seen Orient. Same situation. Can't talk about a show I haven't seen. So we're just going to skip it and move on. The Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. This sounds like The Way of the House Husband. Is this another one where a Yakuza takes a family role? As much as I've complained about plots that we've seen before, this is a plot that I haven't gotten tired of yet. I've seen Hinamatsuri and I've seen Way of the House Husband, and I love them both. They're both hilarious, and this is one of those cases where even though we've seen it before, it's a storyline that I am not bored of yet, and I'm more than happy to watch more of. So we'll see. We'll see what the synopsis says. Who's your nanny? Okay.
Kirishima Toru is the right-hand man of the Sakuragi crime family. For him, the job is a perfect excuse to let his violent instincts run wild, earning him the nickname of the Demon of Sakuragi. It seems like nothing will stand in his way of his vicious nature. But then one day he receives an assignment like never before from the boss, babysitting his daughter. This is a heartwarming, or is it blood-curdling, story of a little girl and her Yakuza caretaker. Okay, so this is one where the Yakuza actually are assigning him this job, as opposed to previous shows where he's had to sacrifice his Yakuza life to prioritize taking care of the child or whatever, or like having a home life. This is like the boss has assigned you this mission and you gotta do it. Kind of similar to Spy Family in that sense. Yeah, let's see what the PV has to offer. We're not going to watch the character PVs, we want to watch a main one. So let's check this out. Ah. Again, animation looks pretty clean. That's always a good thing. This looks surprisingly tame. Or when the synopsis talked about like his vicious, violent tendencies, the PV shows none of that. Ooh, a nice boppy opening to boot. Never hurts, never hurts. Okay, yeah. So there kind of shows a little bit of that side of him. Not too much, though. Sure, let's give it a go. Let's give it a... What is this? Okay. That was random. Yeah, no, it looks like it'll be a nice... It looks surprisingly chill. Which obviously is kind of to be expected from what the synopsis was going off, but I thought it would have a little bit more action. And that's not a complaint at all. I still think it'll be really, really interesting. Yeah, no, I don't know. The synopsis made it seem like it was going to be a little bit more violent. I don't know. But I'm still curious. It's going to be another one of those where I will check it out and see what the first few episodes give, if that makes sense. Sometimes it's just easier to know if you're going to like a show when you actually give it a shot. So we'll give it a go and see what happens. It looks like it could be quite cute though. So I will definitely give it a go. I'm getting close to 15 shows, and I tend not to want to go over 15. So what we'll do is we'll just add anything we want to add, and then we can remove things to whittle the list down at the end. This is, of course, assuming I actually get through this whole stream in the next 45 minutes. Okay, we're going to keep going. Dropkick on My Devil X. This is Season 3 of Dropkick of My Devil. I love the show. It's like Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, but 10 times more violent and slapstick, which I love. And Jashin-chan is voiced by one of the girls from Love Live Sunshine, whose name escapes me. the blonde one. She's hilarious in that, and she's hilarious in this. The two characters definitely remind me of each other in the best ways possible. And I don't know what to say, man. It's a lot of fun. It's surprisingly violent, but it's hilarious, and it's really goofy. And I love the supporting cast too. So I'm definitely invested in this one. I hope it gets licensed, because the licensing for this one has been a bit iffy in the past. Hopefully it'll be on Crunchyroll. We don't want the opening theme PV. Let's go with the middle one. It looks like it's the natural PV. Yeah, it's the classic opening from season 1. Is this just the opening? This doesn't look like a PV, huh? Yeah, it's not a PV, that's why. I mean, like, the song's great, and I definitely like it, but I kind of want to find something that's... Okay, it doesn't look like it has an actual, like, PV, so we won't dwell on it too much. If it'll save us some time, we won't bother watching any PVs for that one. But, yeah, no, I'm excited. I love the show. It's adorable, it's goofy, and it's surprisingly violent and slapsticky, and it all blends well. Really well together, so I'm definitely, I love the show, so it's going on the list for sure. Okay, yeah, we are getting close to the 15 cap, and I know there's at least a couple more shows I want to put on here, so we're definitely going to have to sacrifice a few. But yeah, we will do that at the end. Moving on to the next one, Licorice Recoil. Licorico is a cafe with a traditional Japanese twist located in downtown Tokyo, but the delicious coffee and sugary sweets are not the only orders this cafe takes. From delivering packages short distances to pickups and drop-offs on the lonely streets at night, to zombies and giant monster extermination. Hold up, this has got kaijus? Okay, whatever your problem, we're here to help. We'll solve any kind of trouble you may have. Waiting for you are the ever-smiling poster girl and the cool, serious newcomer, a petite girl who never wants to work, and a young woman approaching 30 who wants to get married. And the manager is a nice guy who's obsessed with Japan. Whatever your order is, leave it up to us. That sounds hysterical. This sounds fun. I hope the PV makes the show look as good as the trailer, as the synopsis sounds. But it's an interesting premise. So let's see. We don't want any character PVs. We want a main PV. This one's got some subtitles, so we'll watch this one. I love how it tries to trick you into thinking that it's like really just a wholesome slice of life. It's like, wow, look, we serve people sweets and stuff. Look, it's all cute. It's a lot more characters than the synopsis implied, which I'm down for. Ah, you can't show us like a PV with a little bit more. Oh, here we go, PV2. I know I said we'd only watch one PV per show, but I want to see more. Oh, this is teaser PV, so it probably doesn't show us more. No, it doesn't. Okay, dang. That's annoying. Okay, we'll put it on the list because it sounds interesting. It's another one of those ones where I really wish the PV would show us more than what it has. But it sounds fun. And if it delivers on some of the more wacky premises, could be a wild ride. Okay, we've hit the 15 cap. I'm not including the Dr. Stone special because it's just a singular episode. But, yeah, I'm repeating myself, but you get the gist where we're at. Okay, the next one is going to be really, really interesting. Utopia. This is an anime sequel to Kamen Rider Double. I have not seen Kamen Rider Double. However, I am a huge Kamen Rider fan, and I've always wanted to see Kamen Rider done in anime form. So I am currently currently kind of stuck in the middle of like deciding what to do about this anime. I don't really have time to watch the entirety of Double before this comes out. And I feel like I have to if I want to watch this. And I know people love Double. It's one of a lot of Kamen Rider fans' all-time favorites. Probably why it's the one that they're prioritizing to get an anime. But yeah, I don't know. I'm stuck on what to do with this one, to be honest. I really want to watch it, but I don't have time. I mean, it doesn't air till the end of July. So maybe I just spend July trying to binge watch as much as Double as I can. Because I really want to watch this. I've always wanted to see Kamen Rider done in anime form. But to give context, I've seen X8, I've seen Build, and I've seen all the newer stuff like 01, Saber, and Revice. That's it though. I haven't seen many of the older series. I've been meaning to watch Double ever since I heard that this was happening, but I just never got around to it. I'd always been prioritizing some of the newer stuff. So yeah, this is definitely... I definitely need to get my stuff in gear if I'm going to watch this, but we'll read the synopsis. Uto is under the protection of Shotaro and Philip, but bizarre incidents continue to occur frequently on the far side of the city. Turkey May, a mysterious beauty, appears and a new evil casts its shadow on the Windy City. It's the beginning of a new battle for Kamen Rider Double. Yeah, I mean, the synopsis doesn't really tell you much, but I assume if you love Double, you're going to love this. Let's watch the PV. Ah, no, it's region blocked? Ah, man. Okay, well, I could try and find it. Because I bet even though the official PV is blocked, I bet it's somewhere else on YouTube. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I knew this one had a PV and I wanted to watch it, so yeah, we're gonna check it out. Get some sound on though, please. I wonder if it's the same cast from the show, or if it's like a new voice cast. The motorcycle looks ridiculous, but like, you know, that's the point. It is a Kamen Rider motorcycle after all. Animation looks clean. A lot of production value went into something I wasn't up there. I wasn't really expecting to get much effort put into. And there's the classic standby loop at the end there. Okay, I mean, the PV doesn't really show you much, but I hope that this has a decent amount of actual Kamen Rider action. It may be a bit more focused on the characters, less so on the Kamen Rider action, but it's very hard to tell with just one PV. I need to watch Kamen Rider Double is basically what I'm taking from this. because I don't have much more to say than what I've already said. I want to give the show a go, but I can't until I see Double. So we're gonna put it on the list just so that I remember it exists. But yeah, it remains to be seen if I'll actually be able to watch it weekly, simply because I don't know if I'm going to get to Double in time, but we shall see. Let's move on to Luminous Witches, another Shaft anime. Okay, it's a magic military. It's one of those, okay. Story centers on a unique squadron of witches who don't fight. Instead, the squadron sing and perform music to protect the smiles of those who have been driven out of their hometown by the Nuroi. Okay, so it's one of those ones. I mean, yeah, you know the kind of show this is. I mean, I've seen a few shows like this. I've seen Cancoli, and I'm obviously a Love Live fan. So I'm not against the idea of this, but with as many as shows as I've got on my list already, it's definitely not going to take precedence unless the PV shows us something unexpected. I mean, it's got a nice aesthetic. Another show where I think the production value is way higher than I initially expected. Which, once again, is by no means a bad thing. I also feel like this might be a sequel to something I've heard of before. Is this a sequel of Strike Witches? I haven't seen Strike Witches, but I've heard of it. And it definitely seems like it is. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to skip this one. It's the same kind of show as all the other shows you've seen, like Girls and Panzer, Cancoli, Strike Witches. I think this actually might be part of like the Strike Witches series. It's just it didn't inherently say it was, but I would be surprised if it wasn't. And I haven't seen Strike Witches, and again, we've got so many other stuff on our list at the moment that this doesn't really take priority over some of the other stuff we've got on there. So I'll be skipping it. But like, it looks like it's got a good production value, and if you're into those sorts of shows, then I'm sure you will have a great time with it. We move on. This might be the last row we tackle. I mean, there are some other shows that I might want to cover in this, but I don't really have the time. Like I said, I don't really want to stream beyond 11 PM, so this may be the last row we tackle. We'll see where we're at, but yeah, I think we might have to skip the rest. But I don't think there's anything here crazy that I definitely need to pay attention to. Okay, we're going to carry on. Shine On Bakumatsu Bad Boys. It's a historical samurai. Okay. Yeah. I've never been a massive fan of historical anime, but it depends on what they do with it. Like, for me, historical stuff usually has to have a little bit of supernatural stuff in there to keep me interested. Because I'm a little bit of a monkey brain, as I've said, and I don't know, historical stuff doesn't super entertain me, but we'll see. Masked Demons with the other substitutes... Wait, Masked Demons with the other substitutes to avenge his parents' death. That's not a proper sentence. Masked demons with the other substitutes to avenge his parents' deaths. Okay. Former criminals rise up to restore peace and order as their crazy story begins. And now is the time to shine the brightest. For Crunchyroll, that has to be the vaguest, most confusing plot synopsis I've ever read. Like, I'd expect that from, like, a badly translated synopsis straight from the official website shows where... Oh! Yeah. That's on me. That's on me. I messed up. I don't know how this happened. That's on me. Now I look stupid. No wonder the sentence didn't make sense. It wasn't... Okay. I apologize. That was a dumb moment by me. We're going to start over and read the synopsis as it was intended to be read. In the era of samurai-controlled Japan, the masked demons annihilate all but one member of the Shinsengumi, who had worked to maintain peace and public order in Kyoto. 7 criminals are chosen as substitute for the deceased Shinsengumi members, and they are led by Ichibanoboshi, whose parents were also killed by the masked demons. He becomes a substitute for the commander Isami Kondo and goes after the masked demons with the other substitutes to avenge his parents' deaths. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. I once again apologize for my stupidity. We will watch the official Crunchyroll trailer so that we can understand the subtitles and whatnot. Mad protagonist is mad. Vengeance. Oh, he's got the classic anime hair. Spiky and obscene color choices. Are you saying we're some kind of Suicide Squad? This is Suicide Squad Samurai Edition. With a little bit of vengeance mixed in for good measure. That could be fun. Sure. We'll stick it on the list. We'll stick it on the list. It could be fun. Why not? Samurai Suicide Squad. Why not? Okay, next one. This is one that I know people are very, very excited for. Me personally, not so much. But I respect that this is a very, very beloved show. This is, I believe, the remake of Tokyo Mew Mew, called Tokyo Mew Mew New. I don't know if this is a sequel or a remake, and depending on which one of the two it is, will dictate whether or not I give this show a chance. If it's a remake, I'd like to check it out because of how beloved it is. It's the same situation with the new Fruits Basket, where the passion that the fans have for this show is enough to make me want to watch it. Just on its own, because I want to know what all the fuss is about. And if it's anything like how Fruits Basket went, it could end up being really, really fun. Let's read the synopsis. Maybe it'll tell us whether or not it's a sequel or a remake. Also, if anyone knows, feel free to let me know, because I am very curious. Let's have a look. The scientists of the Mew Project use DNA of an endangered species to create a team of heroines imbued with amazing superhuman abilities. One of them, Ichigo Momoya, is awakened to discover she is armed with all the skills of an Iroimote cat. I do not know how to pronounce that. Ichigo must band together with the Mew Mew girls to repel an alien incursion while hiding the thrilling double lives from friends and family. This is like classic magical girl, right? Like this and Sailor Moon were like the classic magical girl anime, right? From what I understand. Obviously, I only got into anime within like the past 5 or 6 years, so I don't have a lot of knowledge of like older shows. But yeah, I know that people holds a very close place to a lot of people who grew up watching the original. And I'm curious about it, so let's have a look at the PV. Here we go, Magical Girl transformation sequence. For a show that's so beloved, I just realized, why is it so far down on the list? Shouldn't this be, like, right at the top? Surely. Yeah, I mean, it looks very cutesy, but I have nothing against that. I do have a soft spot for Moe. Oh, what's this? Like a serious plot line as well? Are those just the villains, I assume? Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Moe anime have always been like my guilty pleasure. So I have nothing against it being like Moe and Magical Girly. I'm always down to give that sort of thing a go. And yeah, I'm surprised it's so far down on this list because I've heard nothing but good things about Tokyo Mew Mew. So I will give this a go. Who knows whether or not it's actually my cup of tea, but it's like Fruits Basket where I want to give it a go and see what the hype's about. So we're gonna put it on the list. We're gonna put it on the list. Oh god, we're 18. Okay, we're definitely gonna have to juggle some of these a bit. Do not like the fact that this is all in caps. Let me fix that. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to Love Live Superstars Season 2. As I've mentioned, I am a Love Live fan. It's all one of my friends' faults. I was never into idol anime until they came up to me one day and was like, hey, you should watch idol anime. And I was like, I mean, I guess I can. I don't know. And then I fell down the Love Live rabbit hole and I've never been the same since. So I will be watching this because I'm too deep in the Love Live rabbit hole now not to. But I really liked Sunshine. It's a much more reserved story. Most of the Love Live shows deal with a very large cast of characters, and not Sunshine, Superstar has a much smaller cast, like half the size, which allows it to deal with the characters it does have in a lot more detail, which I really like. And admittedly, it looks like the cast is gonna double up in the second season, which I'm not entirely against. I have nothing against a larger cast. I just thought it was a unique take on the series. And you could argue that doubling the cast up will take away some of that uniqueness, but as I said, I am too far in this rabbit hole to not watch this, and I enjoyed the first season enough that even if its unique element is taken away, I think I'm still going to get plenty of enjoyment out of the show regardless. I don't expect much from Love Live shows, to be honest. It's just one of those things where I'm so far in, I kind of have to watch it. Even if it's just like, okay. Okay, yeah. It's more Love Live. I don't really have much more to say than that. All the characters are back. They look like they're all the same as they ever were. It looks like it's going to be a fun one. That one's going on the list. Oh no. I think this is going to be the last row simply because I want to spend the last little chunk of the stream filtering down my list with you guys. If anything, I want to actively avoid the rest of the rows to avoid adding anything else. All the shows I knew I wanted to put on here, I already have. So I don't really want to spend time adding even more when I don't really need to. So we'll do this last one for the sake of completing the row, and then we're going to take a look at what everything that's on the list and filter it down from currently it's 18, hopefully down to at least 15, if not lower. We'll see. Anyway, we'll look at this last one. It's called Prima Doll. Cafe Kuroneko Tai boasts an unusual roster of employees, a group of automata, or autonomous mechanical dolls, serve their patrons with a smile, but they weren't always suited to domestic life. Just a few years prior, automata served as weapons in the Great War, fulfilling the bloody purpose for which they were created. Now that the war has ended, these machines with human hearts search for their place in this unfamiliar but peaceful world, and the search begins with Kuroneko Tai Cafe. Sorry about that. That sounds really interesting. Let's see what the PVs have to say. Oh, it looks moe. Oh, it's key? Okay. It's probably going to be really, really emotional then, right? Damn, it's pretty. The backgrounds and stuff? This looks like the kind of show that's going to make you cry. Like, it's going to draw you in with really cute characters, and then it's just going to crush you. Yeah, I feel red flags everywhere. Oh, look at the little bunny! This looks cute. I can just feel that this is gonna crush our souls. Oh, I want to watch it, but I can't add more shows to the list. Yeah, I'm totally right though, aren't I? Oh boy. Okay. I can't not watch that. This is going to be rough, isn't it? Okay, we're going to put it on the list. Like I said, we're just going to add everything that looks interesting and then filter it down. But yeah, no, I already understand. I understand the vibe fully. And even though I know what's coming, it's going to crush my soul anyway. I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh boy. Right. That was going to be the last one, but there is only one more show on here that piqued my interest briefly as I was scrolling, and that's whatever this is. It doesn't have a synopsis, and I know literally nothing about it. It's called KG File. I literally just saw it as we were scrolling, So I know nothing, I really know nothing about it, but I don't know, it looks like my vibe. Oh, it doesn't even have a PV. Okay, so we literally can't. Okay, never mind. We won't worry about it then. And there's nothing, I can't really judge it if it's got nothing to show. So yeah, like there's some other stuff here that looks like it could be good, but we've already got so many shows on the list and I need to whittle it down already. So we are going to leave it there. I'm sorry if there was a show on here that I didn't tackle. Unfortunately, I'm just a little bit stretched for time at the moment. But yeah, I think we've got a really good selection. So give me a moment whilst I try and figure out the best way to get this list on the screen for you guys. I think I'm going to swap screens and edit it in the background. Okay, I mean, you guys already saw it from the looks of it. Let me just tinker. One moment. So it's just got like some personal info on here that I'd rather not share. This is my personal Google Drive, so I'm trying to hide it. Okay, I think we're good. Alrighty, so this is everything we've got on the list so far. We're going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes trying to whittle it down to ideally 15, because 15 is about the field where I'm comfortable. Maybe a little less, just so that we can juggle it a little bit more smoothly. But it's going to be a little bit tricky, I'm conscious of. So a lot of the higher ones up, I definitely want to keep. We're just going to go through one by one, and we'll try and get rid of the ones that I just put on here out of curiosity. Again, we're not counting Dr. Stone because it's a singular episode, and I can definitely make time for that. So I put it at the bottom there, outside of the main list, because I'll be watching it regardless. But yeah, okay. We're just going to go through them one by one. Overlord Season 4 definitely is a keeper. It's a 4th season of a show that I'm already pretty heavily invested in. Devil is a Part-Timer, probably my most anticipated show of the season, so that is staying on there. Glancing with the Elite, I might be watching with a family member, and I'd like to keep that on there, so I can watch it with them. Danmachi, Season 4, or again, already heavily invested in. Basically, I want to keep all these sequels, so all 6 of these I think are going to stay. That's the same for Dropkick and Love Live. Basically, any sequels are like instant keeps. Call of the Night looks like it's probably the most interesting original series of the season, so I want to keep that on there if they can. Let's see what else is here. When will Ayumu make his move? This was the Shogi one, right? I think we're going to skip this. I think we're going to get rid of that. We need to get rid of like 5, so anything that wasn't immediately captivating, I think, has to go. So we will get rid of that. Engaged Kiss, I'm not sure, because the action really, really drew me in. But if we need to get rid of something, we will get rid of it. But let's see what else is on here. Uncle from Another World, I'm convinced, is a Netflix batch release. Netflix almost never do weekly releases, so I don't think I need to include this. Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer didn't really show us much, but the premise was really interesting. A Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting. I think we're going to skip this one. Because as cute as it looked, it's more of what I have seen before. And I know I said, like, I'm interested in that plotline, not interested enough in it that I would need to prioritize it over some of the other stuff here. I missed Dropkick. Oh yeah, that's because it's a sequel, right? I said I was going to keep it. RWBY I'm keeping because I'm a massive fan of the earlier seasons of RWBY. Fruitopia, we'll keep it on there for now. The samurai one I think we'll skip. That put us down to 16. I really want to keep the rest of these. Should we get rid of Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer? Because as fun as the premise sound, it didn't really show us anything. But the PVs didn't really show anything. It was between that and Engage Kiss. And I don't know. Just right as it stands right now, that show had a little bit more to show. And has me a little bit more invested. But it may be that Engage Kiss ends up being terrible and I swap it. Because again, I don't have to stick to this list. Oh yeah, Fruitopia is actually licensed by Crunchyroll already, right? So I can quite easily just highlight that. This is what I was talking about with the highlighting, right? I like to highlight them based on the show on the streaming service that they will be on. Funimation used to be on here, but obviously, you know, the merger has happened now, so I removed it. So now we just have orange for Crunchyroll shows, red for Netflix, and blue for High Dive stuff. And black I use for anything that has yet to be licensed. So yeah. That I think is good. There's nothing else here I really want to get rid of. I could get rid of Licorice, especially if we've got Prima Doll. We don't really need 2 cafe shows. But it did have kaiju fights. And I do like kaiju. It all kind of varies because Fruitopia is one that I may not even watch. Depending on whether or not I ever get around to watching double. And if I remove Fruitopia, that leaves space for some of the other stuff. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to put Lucifer back on here. And we're going to keep it at this 16 because these are the shows I feel pretty confident about. And then when we know a little bit more about what shows are licensed, which shows are not licensed, maybe we get some more trailers for some of these that give us a little bit more information. Maybe I can make a bit more of an informed decision. Ideally, I need to get rid of another at least like 2 or 3. It's rough. I'm really not sure. I'm a little conflicted. We'll leave it like this for now. I think this is a good list. So we'll keep it like this for now. I know it's not quite as slow as I needed it to be, but I've got time to figure out exactly how I want to tackle this. So yeah, we're gonna call it, I think, because it's very close to 11 for me. Now I want to go to bed. But yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning into my stream today. I know it was a bit haphazard. Things were a bit chaotic. Again, this was a learning experience for me. I learned a lot about what I need to do if I decide to do this again, which I definitely want to. For starters, I will need to start the stream much earlier. So if I do this again, it'll be like maybe 6 PM, 7 PM BST, as opposed to 8 PM, because 8 PM is way too late. And I think maybe I just need to spend a little less time on each show, maybe? I don't know. I mean, I think 3 hours isn't inherently bad. But I think as long as I start the stream an hour earlier, I could do like a 7 to 10 stream, and I think that would be perfectly fine. But yeah, I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are on this season. Let me know what you're watching, and if there's any shows that I missed. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And thank you, just thank you so much for tuning in. This is a stream that I've always wanted to do. Ever since I started watching like seasonal anime videos on YouTube, I've always wanted to do my own take on it. So I'm really grateful for anyone who's given this video or stream a chance. I really want to do more for the future seasons, and hopefully, as I said, the more we do this sort of stuff, the more comfortable I should be with doing this and getting the format right and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope you guys will tune into future videos of these. But as for what the next stream is going to be, I might do a stream I won't do a stream tomorrow because I have plans tomorrow evening. But I'd like to do a stream on Wednesday, and that'll probably be God of War, continuing God of War. If not Wednesday, then Thursday. But I will let you know. It'll be one of those 2 days. I want to get another stream in before the end of the week, and that will be a God of War stream. But I will let you know which day it'll be. It won't be tomorrow. I can say that with confidence. It'll be Wednesday or Thursday. So keep an eye on my Twitter. I'll let you guys know what day it'll be. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you guys had fun. I had a lot of fun. And I look forward to the new season and seeing if all these shows live up to the hype. And yeah, it's going to be a great time. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys all in a couple of days. See you later.